But each of the parts is nothing other than a 1. So all you're seeing is 1 wherever you look. Is that true? Don't mislead me, especially the people in the first row. So the only thing you're ever seeing is 1. If you see a man, woman, right? You don't see the parts. You see the parts together into unity. The unity transforms the parts into an entity. But yet, on the other hand, you can distinguish the parts. You can call them different names. But when you have all the parts, you don't have the person until you have the unity, like a watch. If you have all the parts, that doesn't make a watch. All of the parts have to come together in some special unity. And when you have that special unity functioning somewhere towards a goal, keeping time, then you can call it a watch. Would you agree with that? Otherwise, it's not. Not yet. So therefore, when all of this comes together as a unity and has a direction, a function, then we can say it what it is, Well, now, wait a minute. Look here. I'd like to know, in what class does number and the 1 belong? Now, look here. See, should we put number 1 in the class of number? Is 1 a number? Well, let me raise it another way. Would you agree that when you're talking about numbers, there must be something that is used, theoretically at least, that can measure each one of these? Because you wouldn't want one of these that is twice as big as the other, or valued more than just 1. Therefore, any number, whatever it is presupposes that there must be a measure for each, so that you're oneing. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, you're oneing. And when you stop oneing, you have a number. Wherever you stop, that's your number. But all you're doing is oneing. Now wait a minute, look here. Is the measure of something ever used? If there's a gold standard somewhere, or if there's a measure of a foot, if there's a standard, would anyone want to use it? Why not?
Why not? Be gone.
Why?
It would be gone.
It might be varied in its use. And if it varies in its use, it will no longer be what it was before, and it can no longer be a measure. Ah, so then wait a minute, if that's true, 1 is not a number. It's the measure of number. Would you agree with that?
I would agree.
Well then, look here. Does number belong in the class of 1, or is 1 in the class of number? Go ahead, miss. Look, I need an answer.
I don't think either.
Well, whether you put it in either or neither or neither or nor, all right? What is this thing you're calling 1? What is
this number and the 1 belong?
Yeah, well, what is the 1? Just as it is in itself. What would you say? I mean, would you agree the whole universe is 1?
Yeah.
God is 1.
Yeah.
Everything is 1. Wait a minute, is there a 1 which includes everything? Is there everything? 1 everything?
Yeah.
A totality? Is there 1 totality? Everything that is, everything that was, everything that will be?
Yeah.
Well, then the idea of 1 is total and inclusive. But what is it? Since we know it can be utilized everywhere in the same way and it never varies.
It's 1 and many at the same time. Well, in the way we're
How can it be 1 and many at the same time?
But in the way we're talking about it, it sounds like it's a unity.
But look here, if it's 1 and many at the same time, didn't you agree that when the parts get together, they're fused and it becomes a unity? What happens to its parts? Do the parts still function separately? Or are they unitized in some way and the thing becomes a 1?
Yeah.
Ah, well then what's the 1? Since that's all you ever see and experience, what is, after all, the nature of the one in itself? Okay. Plato takes this, you see, and he raises this point. The one that he postulates, each unity is equal to every other as a unity. Would you agree?
One is equal to one.
Pardon?
One is equal to one.
And all of these, and the unities, as unities, they're all equal. In that sense, that what you mean by each is a unity. And it unitizes the thing and it becomes a one. Without the slightest difference. And once it's unified, you can no longer talk about it as its parts separate. Therefore, it admits of no division into parts. Once it's a unitary thing. The entire universe is one as a unitized thing. Now, what would the speculation on this question do to you if you decided to take it? Would you not then be saying about everything, the statue there, the chair there, the window here, every person in the room, each person is a one? What is, after all, the nature of the one? What kind of universe are we living in such that all you encounter is one?
And yet you see many.
What kind of a universe is it such that we can say anything besides one?
Well, I imagine you don't want to be redundant, and therefore all you'd say is one.
Well, we're talking about one.
This is what he says now, all right? The effect of holding on to this question has this effect. It converts the soul to the knowledge of being. Remember, I said this is where we're going to keep going back to.
That was the effect of holding on to the question?
Yes, keeping that question. He says, you know what's wrong with the study of arithmetic? No one makes the right use of it. This is the right use of it. By the way, does it look like we're doing arithmetic? This is the way he is describing arithmetic in the Republic, what I'm doing. The soul, therefore, is compelled to contemplate being through such a pursuit. Because would you agree, whatever you call one, has some kind of existence. Would you agree with that? Anything you make a distinction about anything, you are talking about something. When you talk about it in respect to it being one, then you're not concerning itself with any other thing else, not its function, not its parts, not anything else but the fact that it is one. Is there some curious connection then between this idea, the one, and being? Yes, and that's where we're going. Now, everything I'm doing tonight comes out of Plato. None of this is mine. Every quote on this sheet comes out of Plato. Comes right out of the section on the nature of the studies and the arts. Now, let me give you another study. All right. What we need to do is that we have to consider if whatever study we're doing facilitates the apprehension of the idea of the good. That's what we have to do. Now, what's this word? The ultimate term in Plato is called the good. The good is nothing other than that which all men seek. Whatever they seek, whatever you and I seek, we only seek it because we see it as good. We only want to hold it, we only want to deal with it, so insofar as we think it's good for us and it benefits us. Once we have the slightest apprehension that it's bad for us and will bring us harm, we'll drop it. Therefore, the ultimate thing which we all seek is the nature of the good itself. Not any particular good, but an ultimate good. Now, to talk about the idea of the good,